Are you ready to make your homeownership dreams a reality, but feeling lost in this challenging market? Let's unlock the secrets to confidently navigate the confusing housing market of 2023. Real estate is hyper-local, but generally speaking, we're still experiencing low inventory, and in some regions, there are still bidding wars. Not at the same level as like a year or two ago, but it's still challenging for home buyers to get under contract in a lot of places in the US. Unfortunately, not every home buyer should purchase in 2023. This is a very difficult time to buy a home. Being financially prepared before you start the home buying process is super important, especially now. You want to assess your financial readiness. Do you have enough money saved up to buy a home? Does your income allow for you to qualify for a home within a price range that makes sense for you? And what does your debt look like? Talking with a lender can give you an idea of how much you can spend in this current market. Beyond that, you can share with your lender your home goals, then kind of plan out the steps you'll need to take to be financially ready to buy a home. Your lender might suggest that you improve your credit score or maybe save more for a down payment. They can guide you on how you can improve your credit or refer you to a company that specializes in credit repair. They can also help you figure out if you can qualify for any down payment assistance programs. I would also recommend having savings after buying a home. After moving into the home, at some point, something's going to break, right? So if you don't have any savings, you may end up in a financial bind. I know it's super difficult to buy a home right now and still have savings, but if you're able to do that, it could save you from being in a stressful situation later down the road. Although inventory is historically low, negotiation is still possible. This will depend on your area and what's happening in your local market, but I found that buyers aren't just buying up anything anymore. Because of that, some homes are staying on the market longer. I've seen some buyers get pretty decent deals on homes. Now, this is relatively speaking, if you compare it to like a year or two, decent deals are happening. Obviously, if you go back like 5 years ago, it's not much of a deal. I found that if a home has been on the market for over 30 days, the sellers might be a little bit more open to negotiating. I recently had a buyer get over $10,000 in closing costs. The seller, went in and out of contract a couple of times and she was just ready to sell. According to Redfin, home sellers gave concessions to buyers in 42.9% of US home sales. The latest data I could find on that was from April, so this might have changed a little bit by now. Beyond the sales price, don't be afraid to negotiate other terms of the contract, like extending the inspection period if you need to, or negotiating repairs. You want to make sure your home is in good condition when you buy it, so you don't walk into a big mess and are overwhelmed, aka spending a bunch of money once you move into the home. I think it's really important to have a real estate agent that you trust. Because of this quickly changing market, you want someone who is very familiar with the market that you're purchasing in. You also want to make sure your real estate agent is able to negotiate on your behalf. As I mentioned before, I think there is, more room to negotiate than a year or two ago, but if you don't have someone who's skilled in negotiation, you may end up overpaying for a home. You can find a real estate agent from personal recommendations online, or I can help you find a real estate agent in your area. The link for that is in the description. I recommend interviewing a few real estate agents to make sure you're choosing someone who is knowledgeable about the market and easy to work with. Rising interest rates have made home buying more difficult. Interest rates have been in the 6 to 7% range since about the fourth quarter of 2022. The interest rates rose around 3% in the last year and a half. This has been a shock to the market, to say the least. A lot of home buyers have decided to wait to buy a home until the interest rates go down. I've heard some mortgage professionals say that they believe the interest rates will go down in the next year, and others have said that the interest rates won't go down. The Federal Reserve, which has a role in determining mortgage interest rates, have stated that they don't plan to lower the interest rates in 2023. We'll see what happens, in 2024. My best guess is that if interest rates do go down next year, they probably won't go down a significant amount, like, not 3%, unless, of course, there's some sort of banking or housing crisis or some sort of recession. My best guess is interest rates will probably be in the 6 to 7% range for a couple of years, but who really knows? You have to determine for yourself if this is a good time for you to buy, especially when you consider the uncertainty of the housing market when it comes to interest rates. There are some loan programs out there that mortgage professionals are pushing in hopes to, to get you to buy a home now and then refinance later. I know there's that whole saying, date the rate, marry the house. But if you're getting into a mortgage now, assuming the rate is going to go down, I'm not sure if that's the best mindset to have. No one really knows when rates will go down and by how much. Make sure that when you buy a home, your monthly payment with your current interest rate falls within a budget that you're comfortable with and can maintain long term. One of the main reasons we haven't seen home prices plummet in most areas is because of supply and demand. A report from Redfin found that 91.8% of US home buyers with mortgages have an interest rate below 6%. Because so many homeowners have mortgages less than 6%, many people don't want to sell their home because they're going to, of course, have to live somewhere else, and then the interest rate might be significantly higher than what they have now. Not to mention, home prices have increased in some areas of the US. Working with your real estate agent, you can find out what inventory looks like in your area. What is the month supply of inventory? How long are homes staying on the market? Learning what's happening in your market can help you make more informed decisions. Because buying a home is so expensive right now, you really want to make sure that you're making an informed decision before buying a home. I've talked with some homeowners who have bought within the last year, and they're having buyer's remorse and potentially thinking of selling their home. The problem with that is people in this scenario may not have a lot of equity in their home, so after closing costs and everything that's involved in the selling process, you may not break even on the sale of your home. If you're going to buy a home now, I think it makes sense to plan to be in the home for the next 5 to 10 years. Doing your due diligence before you buy a home will help you make a decision that makes the most sense for you. Since interest rates are fluctuating on a daily basis, it makes sense to work closely with a loan officer. They can help guide you in getting the best interest rates, whether it be working on your credit score and general financing readiness, like we talked about before, or finding loan programs that could work for your situation. Lenders can also help you with down payment assistance or closing cost assistance programs. If you are going to utilize one of those assistance programs, I do recommend working with a lender that's familiar with the programs. Those programs can be pretty nuanced and difficult to qualify for. I would make sure to research all the options that the lender is proposing. Some lenders are offering adjustable mortgages or 40-year mortgages. There are definitely some cons to those options, so it's best to figure out if this is a good option for your situation. To learn about the steps to buy a home, check out this video or this playlist about the home buying process. Reach out to me if you have any real estate questions. My contact information is in the description below. Thanks for watching to the end, especially if you're a subscriber.